Hey there, peeps. It's me again, and I'm back for another video. This time, I am interviewing the CEO of Koinos Group, Mr. Andrew Levine. So I had to admit, guys, we had a fun discussion about Koinos Group. So we are talking about its mission and vision, main concept, advantages, benefits, future plans, and exciting updates. And I'm pretty sure that you're going to find this exciting after you watch this video. So stay tuned, peeps. Okay, guys, so I'm here right now with the CEO of Koinos Group, Mr. Andrew Levine. So, Andrew, thank you for being here in the show.
Thanks for having me. By the way, it's Koinos Group.
Koinos Group, okay. Because I saw something in the internet like there is also Koinos Group and there is Koinos Core. Yeah, okay.
No, I mean Koinos Group is the name we use publicly, but maybe we accidentally. I don't know what that's about, but no, it's Koinos Group.
Okay, Koinos Group. Okay, gotcha. All right. So could you also say hello to our viewers here on YouTube who are watching us right now?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. By the way, I want to thank you for the way that you reached out to me, Jeff, and the efficiency and the thoroughness of it. I get people reach out to me all the time, and they're very inconsiderate of my time, and they don't think through what they're trying to do. And you just reach out, you're like, this is who I am. This is what I want to do with you. Here's the structure of it. Like, are you interested? And I was like, yes, I'm interested. And then you were like, here are the questions I want to ask you. I'm like, great, let's do this. And that is so rare. Honestly, you're by far the best person to reach out to me in terms of like, how you did it, how organized you were. And I really appreciate it. So thank you.
I'm very happy to hear it from you, Andrew. So it was a great pleasure. Thank you. So anyways, are we ready? Are we all set now, Andrew, for the questions?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. So first things first, could you share a little bit about yourself and how you get started in getting interested in crypto, blockchain, and DeFi industry?
Yeah, of course. It all goes back to Bitcoin. What's different about my background is that I went to law school, and I came out of law just very disillusioned with what I learned about how the system operates and how we organize ourselves. And the legal system is a really important system in society, but it's still very antiquated. And so I came out of that being like, wow, this is a really antiquated system that relies on guys in a room interpreting stuff written on paper. And I hated it. And I really didn't plan on even practicing law. I immediately tried starting businesses. And at the same time, when I came out of law school, we were knee deep in the financial crisis of 2008. And so I really think that that's the core of what got me interested in this space, is the dissatisfaction with the legal system and then the dissatisfaction with the financial sector and seeing all of the problems that came out of that and then looking for alternative systems. And so, of course, when Bitcoin comes out and shows that there's another way to design financial systems, and then when Ethereum comes out and shows that we can use that same technology, those same innovations, to build things called smart contracts, right? Contracts being a legal concept. So that obviously resonated with me very deeply as somebody who'd gone through that legal experience. And so from there on, I started looking for ways that I can get involved in the space. And as a non-engineer, that was challenging. And so that's what led me to the Steem blockchain and steemit.com, where I could be a community person or a marketing person or a communications person. And so that's basically what wound up happening. They needed effectively a community manager. And I said, okay, I'll do it. And from there, I got promoted to content director and eventually to head of communications and part of senior management of the whole company. And that's where I got to meet my co-founders, who were all core developers of the Steem blockchain. These were the guys who built and upgraded, who launched, managed, and upgraded the Steem blockchain. And got to know them as friends, as people, and began working with them as teammates. And we just developed a really tight relationship over our years at Steemit together. And so when all the things went down with Tron and we all resigned at the same time, we viewed that as a very unique opportunity where we were no longer answering to anybody but ourselves. And so what could we do with all of our unique knowledge that we gained as the most experienced decentralized application development team in the world for 5 years? How could we use that unique knowledge to further expand the reach of blockchain technology to more people? And that's what led to the creation of Koinos Group and the Koinos blockchain.
Okay, so Andrew, thank you very much for sharing to us your story on how you start getting interested in the crypto blockchain DeFi space, and also the time you have with Steemit and your decision to leave them because of this issue with Justin Sun, of course, the drama, everything, and that led you guys to start the Koinos Group. Okay, so that is a wonderful story, Andrew. Thank you. Okay. So my next question for you is, what is currently the mission and vision of Koinos Group?
So the mission of Koinos Group is to give everyone ownership of their data. We believe that that's the core value proposition of blockchain technology. Going all the way back to Bitcoin, if you isolate out everything, the only real genuine innovation is this ability to track ownership of digital property. That isn't to say Bitcoin isn't awesome. You're lucky if you get one of those core innovations, right? That's a very rare thing, to build something totally new. And that is a huge one. That's a huge one, digital ownership. And the problem that we've seen since the launch of Bitcoin is the inability to scale that feature. And ironically, we feel that one of the big reasons that we haven't been able to scale the technology is because people have lost sight of that unique value proposition. They think it's about one particular feature. They think it's about sharding. They think it's about improving Ethereum in this way or that way. And they're not going back to first principles and thinking, this is the thing we need to scale. It's this feature. And now you hear a lot of people talking about owning your data and a right to own your data, but you don't hear people talking about solutions. They want to impose it in a top-down way by the government, which is fine. But if you don't have the technical solutions in place to actually deliver that feature, it's not going to work. Technology has, there's this great quote. There's a quote that I love, which is, there's no such thing as political solutions. There's only technological solutions. And so the goal is to deliver those technological solutions. As far as the vision of the company, it's about beautiful, easy to use products that integrate blockchain technology, right? So we want to be putting stuff out that your mom can use, that your uncle can use, who's, in his 40s, in his 50s. Oh my God, I'm almost in my 40s. Okay, your grandma. We want to put this technology into the hands of ordinary people. We know that we can, having worked on Steemit, right? And there was one time, like you said, you used Steemit, right? And there was a time when Steemit was blowing up, and people were, thousands and thousands of ordinary people, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, actually millions of people were reading steemit.com, right? So you had millions of people who were touching blockchain technology. And so we learned a lot from that experience, and we saw what could be done and what needed to be done on the back end to scale to the level beyond that. Unfortunately, due to the circumstances of Steemit, we lost that opportunity. But we weren't the leaders of that company. We weren't the people in charge. So, and I think that what people saw from us as a team during that time was that given the constraints that we were under, given the tools we were working with, given the leadership in place, we actually did a lot, but there's only so much you can do. And so now with the freedom that we have as the co-founders we haven't raised any outside capital, we didn't ICO, we have total freedom. And so now, we feel we can actually accomplish what we'd set out to do when working on Steem, which was reduce the barriers to entry to blockchain to zero, and then explode adoption of this technology. And as far as we're concerned, it doesn't matter if it's Koinos or if it's Polkadot or if it's somebody else. What we care about is that ordinary people are using this technology to decentralize applications, to decentralize systems and power structures so that more power, more control is going into the hands of ordinary people. That's what matters most to us. And we're just building Koinos to accelerate the move towards that vision.
Okay, so that is a pretty interesting mission and vision that you have, Andrew. Thank you very much for sharing that. And my next question for you, Andrew, is could you share about the positive and the real use cases of Koinos Group, especially when it comes to competitive advantages and benefits?
Sure, yeah. And just one last point there is that, technically, there are a number of blockchains that deliver digital ownership. The problem is that they have massive barriers to entry due to their fees, and they're not easy to use. They're not developer friendly, they're not user friendly, and a technology that isn't easy to use, that isn't user friendly, that isn't developer friendly is not going to be adopted. And so that's a very big piece of it. This has to be a friendly technology. This has to be built into products that people love using. And that's what guides our development process at Koinos Group on the Koinos blockchain is how do we package this technology such that it delivers an amazing developer experience. It gives developers the tools that they need. And this is something that kind of annoys me when people say stuff like, well, these other projects are also trying to meet the needs of developers. No, they say they are. That's a very different thing. Ask a developer whether they enjoy working with these other platforms. The best you're going to do is Ethereum. And to say that developers like working with Ethereum is a massive overstatement. They tolerate working with Ethereum because it's the best option available to them, but it really, it clearly aggravates me. We're not saying, we are saying, it's not about saying that we're going to meet the needs of developers. It's about actually giving developers tools that they love using. We're not going to settle for slightly less crappy. And so the first step to delivering on that, and now I'm answering the question that you actually asked. So the first step is multi-language support. So enabling developers to build smart contracts in the programming languages that they already use to develop their web applications, like JavaScript, like .NET. That is a massive thing. So We are going to have TypeScript support, which is basically JavaScript for anyone who doesn't know, very early, either at mainnet launch or soon after. And everything else that I talk about, I'm happy to talk about all of our technical solutions that are going to make the user experience of Koinos better, that are going to make the developer experience better. But think about this. Adding JavaScript support to Koinos will instantly increase the usability of Koinos for developers by probably around 100x. You're going to have a lot of difficulty finding a higher return technical solution to integrate into your platform. Now, the key innovation to enabling that is something called Koinos types, which is a technology that we developed that's effectively like this. It's like a key. It's this key that we can continually add programming language support to, and that once support is added to Koinos types, that support spreads throughout the Koinos stack. So for example, Koinos types and multi-language support isn't limited to smart contracts. So another thing that sets Koinos apart that is a very big deal for developers that you won't hear other projects talk about is Koinos will be the first blockchain built on a microservices architecture. So basically for 5 to 10 years now, the vast majority of modern software is built using a microservices architecture, and it's only blockchains that have failed to adopt a microservices architecture at this point. So Koinos will be the first blockchain built on a microservices architecture. And what that means is that instead of having this big, massive block of code that you have to work with, everything like the P2P code, the peer-to-peer network code, the database that stores the blockchain, what we call the block store, all of this stuff is broken up into microservices. And so this is a different part of the stack than the smart contracts themselves. But you have to build them in a programming language. They're very important to the functioning of the network. And Koinos, and by breaking everything up into microservices, what that enables us to do is build the microservices in the right programming language for that microservice. So some of the microservices are written in C++ for efficiency and things like that. But for the more networking related microservices, we write those in Go, because Go is a programming language. It enables us to write networking related microservices probably 10 times faster than C++, right? So, but this is multi-language support again. And Koinos types is again the core to enabling that multi-language use. So multi-language support is about a lot more than enabling people to write smart contracts in the programming languages in one programming language like JavaScript. It's about enabling people to write smart contracts and microservices and any other part of the Koinos stack in the programming languages, not just that they already know, but that are the right tools for the job, so that you get better security, you get faster development, and you get more developer eyeballs. So the multi-language support is a big thing. There are several other technical innovations that I'll go over super quickly, and if you want to follow up, we can, but they're also super important. And one is what we call modular upgradability. All of the system code of the blockchain has been moved into smart contracts, each of which can be upgraded without a hard fork. So the consensus algorithm will be a smart contract. The account system will be a smart contract in a different system. Governance will be a smart contract. And so each of these, if a change needs to be made by the network, can be upgraded without a hard fork independently of one another. So again, you have this modular architecture where you have a very small footprint on a feature. It can be written in any programming language that we have support for, and it can be upgraded without the need for a hard fork. The other major technical innovation is what we call state paging, and that enables the blockchain to remove unused state from the blockchain. This keeps the blockchain small, it keeps it young, which is a huge part of solving the scalability problem. But the key innovation that we've developed on top of that is the ability to bring the data back. The blockchain checks it to make sure it's the same data that was removed. And then once that happens, it just restores it right to where it was before. And so practically speaking, it's like it never left. You still have the immutability, you still have the decentralization, but you don't have the unabated state growth that is plaguing other blockchains and preventing them from scaling.
Okay, so at least we've learned from you about the positive and real use cases of Koinos Group, especially its competitive advantages and benefits. Okay, thank you very much for that, Andrew.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Feeless.
Oh, sure. Please continue.
I should have started with, it will be a feeless smart contracts platform. So no more gas fees. You buy coin, you hold it, you perform transactions. You don't have to pay for accounts. You don't have to pay for every little thing you do. It's feeless. So on top of all of that other stuff I mentioned, the most important, and think about user, so and feelessness is actually the other thing. If you put multi-language support on one side, the other side of it is feelessness, both from a developer standpoint and a user standpoint. If what you're trying to do is deliver a platform that developers love using and users love using, feelessness is right up there with multi-language support, if not higher up. Because when you're a developer, when you're dealing with a fee-based platform, you spend so much of your time and energy navigating around the fees, minimizing the fees. And at the end of that process, you still have to pay the fees. Your users still have to pay the fees. You get rid of the fees, you dramatically cut down on the difficulty of the work that the developer needs to do, and you just improve the user experience by an order of magnitude, right? Going from a fee-based platform, no matter how small. So this is a huge mistake that so many platforms do. They go, we made the fees smaller. And it's usually just because the blockchain is young. It's not about making the fee smaller. Going from any fee to no fee is a fundamental, it's a leap. It's a fundamental difference. And so getting rid of those fees, that's something that's always been at the core of what we're trying to do. It may even be the main thing. It's the one thing, we didn't even debate it. We didn't even think about it. Of course, we were never going to have fees. That's the only way you can have widespread blockchain adoption.
Wow. So I will be checking out Fearless. I'll be researching that later, and I will. It's the first time that I've heard about the term, by the way, Andrew. And I hope that I hope that the viewers here who are watching us right now on YouTube are also learning. So thank you very much for that. Okay.
Well, the other word for it is free.
Free.
Yeah. Specific. So feeless means free to the end user. Feeless is what enables us to offer free to use applications. And that's really what leads to delighting users. They sign into your application and they can just use it. That's how it should be.
Okay, so I'll take note of that, Andrew. So thank you very much for that. Okay,
and I released a video on this. We've released a couple of videos on our YouTube page and some articles on this. So there's plenty to read there.
All right, I'll be checking on that. Okay. Now, speaking of the real use case of Koinos Group, I have recently downloaded the GPU miner, on GitHub, and I have installed it on my PC. But right now, I am using my MacBook Air. Okay. Now my question for you is, well, is it mandatory for us to deposit some coin tokens before we could actually start mining, or there's no need? So could you explain that to our viewers right here on YouTube so that they could understand? Because you know um when I started getting interested in Bitcoin, mining is the first thing in my mind. So Bitcoin is proof of work. Others like Ethereum is now transitioning to proof of stake. So yeah, could you share what's yours, Andrew?
Yeah, sure. So the important thing to understand about the current token is that the purpose of this phase of the launch is to is to make the token accessible to as many people as possible. We have not launched the mainnet of Koinos yet. We haven't launched the platform that people are actually going to use to develop smart contracts that can power decentralized applications. Because if we just launch the mainnet and it's great, then all this attention comes, people buy up the token and it's not accessible. So we wanted to maximize accessibility. So that's why we decided to launch the token before launching the platform. And the way we were able to do that was by launching the token on an existing decentralized platform called Ethereum. And so what we wanted to do was create a provably fair means of distributing the initial token supply so that when the mainnet launches, we've already established a base layer of decentralization. We've distributed the coins among some amount of people, and we wanted to make it accessible. So that's why we launched it on Ethereum. We believe that Bitcoin, having demonstrated proof of work as a distribution mechanism and multiple projects after that, we feel that that is still the best way to distribute an initial token supply in a decentralized manner in a provably fair way. And the key to that, to understanding this process, is understanding that the primary objective here is to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that we, the creators of the protocol, gave ourselves no advantage. So that's why we released the smart contract a week before mining went into play. That's why we released 2 pieces of mining software, a CLI miner and a GUI miner. And the GUI miner, the graphical user interface miner, makes it super easy to participate, or made it super easy to participate in the mining process before the Ethereum fees got crazy and before mining competition got really stiff, right? So it was about releasing the rules of the game and showing that we were confined to the same rules as everybody else. And on that front, the release has been a success. We had to compete for the tokens with everybody else. We had to mine for the tokens like everybody else. And so Coin, with a K, will be the currency of the Koinos platform, of that free to use decentralized platform. And so if you want to get tokens before the platform launches, if you want to be an early adopter and gain the benefits of being an early adopter, that's the purpose of this token. Now, what's happened is that interest and excitement for the token, there's a paradox where if you make it so accessible, if you make it so easy to mine this token, right? We open sourced the mining software. That means that other developers can take the mining software that we develop and improve it. And we don't know that they're doing that. We just see that they're mining more tokens. And so you create this competition that is actually a feature, not a bug. Now, the consequence of this excitement, this openness, this accessibility is that mining competition has become so stiff that and Ethereum fees are so high that really mining on your personal machine is no longer really viable. But there are other options, fortunately. So one option, and this really demonstrates the value of Ethereum and of decentralized finance applications like Uniswap, you can just buy the token. It's at around 2 cents. Now, I'm not saying you should buy it, but remember, our objective here is accessibility. And for 2 cents a token, people are going to have a difficult time ever arguing with me that we didn't make the token accessible. It's 2 cents on Uniswap. That's accessible. Another option for people, because people like their mining, I get it, is a community developer built a pool application. It's built using the Hive blockchain, which is a fork of the Steam blockchain, which we developed prior to our work on Koinos. And it's a feeless blockchain. It's basically where we tested out all of our theories and our technological innovations underpinning feeless designs of blockchains. He built an application where, using that blockchain and a second layer solution on that blockchain called Hive Engine, you can pool your computing resources together, mine the token on Ethereum together, and then split the rewards. And so effectively, you're splitting the gas fee, which is the major pain point with respect to mining coin on Ethereum. If you get into coin, if you mine it, if you buy it, it's important to remember that we will be launching a mainnet and doing an airdrop. So you will need to go through a process. We will do our best to make it super easy to release the tooling to do it in an automated way. But those tokens on Ethereum will have to be migrated to the mainnet. And so it's very important to stay on top of the project, to sign up for our newsletter by going to koinos.io, because that's how we're going to distribute information about the airdrop so that you can make sure that the tokens you get now ultimately make their way to the Koinos mainnet so that you can use all of the great feeless applications that will be coming to that platform.
Okay, so thank you very much, Andrew, for sharing about that. And it's going to create more excitement for me and for those of you who are watching us right now here on YouTube. So I hope you guys are learning, by the way. Okay, now.
So sorry, real quick, one last thing. When we launch the mainnet, you will be able to do what you said, where you can run a node, you'll be able to run a Koinos node, you'll be able to help maintain the network by validating blocks, processing transactions, and anyone who does that will be able to earn some block rewards when that happens. So you'll be able to take the coin that you get now and use that and use the computer you have now to participate in the network and to earn more coin through that participation.
Wow, that's great to hear, and we're looking forward to that. Okay. Now, my next question right now, Andrew, is who are your current project partners of Koinos Group, by the way?
So we're still in the architectural phase. We haven't even launched our testnet yet. So we are talking to many developers, many companies all the time, but our focus right now is on shipping the testnet, which is going to be the world's simplest blockchain built on the world's first microservices architecture. And then once we do that, we got to start working on all of the smart contracts that are going to code up for all of the behaviors that people want from a blockchain, like consensus algorithm, like account system, and all of that. And so while we are talking to people and we are discussing business relationships, that's all private. We're not ready to disclose anything like that. And when we are ready to disclose deals or partnerships or things like that, we'll do it in a way that's designed to maximize the impact from a marketing perspective, from a business perspective. But our primary focus right now is still shipping the testnet. It's very early. We're still early in the process. We think we're good. We're moving fast. We think we're going to be moving fast compared to what people are used to in the blockchain space. But that doesn't change the fact that we're still early in the development process. We got to ship the test net. We got to ship the main net. We think that our value proposition is going to be super compelling. And so if we build it and we ship it and we make it great, there'll be plenty of business for everybody. But first, we got to build it and ship it.
Okay, so thank you very much for that, Andrew. Okay, now my next question for you is, could you share about the recent achievements that you have with Koinos Group? And aside from the achievements, could you also share some of the recent challenges that you are facing and how you guys cope up with that?
Sure. I mean, all of our achievements are just internal right now. And honestly, I wouldn't fault people for saying we haven't achieved anything yet because we haven't shipped the testnet yet. And until we ship the testnet, I won't really be very satisfied. Internally, we have we've developed the world's first microservices architecture for a blockchain. That's a big deal. We've validated all of the code for state paging. We've built the first blockchain with modular upgradability, which includes an on-chain path for upgrades. So you have upgrades for the blockchain come in as ordinary smart contracts, use what we call user smart contracts, right? The standard type of smart contract that you know of on Ethereum or EOS. And if governance selects that smart contract to be part of the system layer, it just magically becomes part of the system code. And so we call this an on-chain upgrade path because everybody sees the code, they see it on the blockchain as an ordinary user contract. They can test it, they can, make sure it's safe and secure and functional and does what we want it to do in a live environment. And then it just becomes a system contract, assuming that governance approves it. So those are major achievements. They're all internal, but we've done them. We know that they work. And we're willing to stake our reputations on that fact. But again, only once we release the testnet will people know that we're telling the truth. As far as the challenges, I mean, this is new, everything we're doing is new. And so whenever you're doing something very new, the first blockchain on a microservices architecture, the first blockchain with modular upgradability, the world's most simple blockchain, the first blockchain that really has multi-language support baked in at its core. Anytime you're doing new stuff like this, you encounter challenges all the time. And it's a very stressful situation because the truth is that you may believe that you can solve the problems, but you don't know because nobody has solved them before. And so the major achievements for us have been the fact that all of those things that we weren't sure we would be able to do, we've solved those problems. We've validated our solutions and we've tested our solutions. No solution. The only exception to that is state paging, which can only really be tested in the live blockchain. So that's still the big question mark for us. We know it works. The question is just whether the resource requirements of it will be bigger than the savings of it. Now, it only takes a little bit of a delta there for it to be a huge improvement to the system. It's a little complicated to explain why. But basically, that's the one question mark we have left. And that's because we need the test net to truly test that. But everything else has been fully tested, is fully functional. So now it's just an execution phase. So that's a really stressful experience. And but honestly, I think the really tough part and the most illuminating as far as shedding light on problems with other projects, when I look at other projects, I get it so much more now. It's the organizational stuff. It's building the company. It's aligning everybody's incentives who's working on it, who's sacrificing their time, their energy, building the thing, organizing that is really difficult. And so I see why so many projects cave to the impulse to doing an ICO, raising a bunch of money in the hopes that they'll be able to use that money to just throw money at people so that they work on solving the problem. That obviously doesn't work. Making people rich before they have to ship the product is just a recipe for failure. So going the other way, doing something new and saying, no, we're not going to ICO. We're not going to raise a ton of money. We're going to self-fund this. We're going to work for free. We're going to work for equity. We are more convinced than ever that that was absolutely the right path to go. But it's been a very difficult process. I mean, we've had to spend a lot of time with lawyers, to be honest, talking about how do you structure the organization, who gets how much equity, having difficult conversations like that. So that was super challenging. I think a lot of people don't see that. A lot of other projects think, well, we're decentralized. We don't need a company. I disagree. I think that's a big part of the reason why these projects fail. You do need a company to protect the people who are doing the most important work, to protect their health, to protect their financial security. And that company should be independent of the blockchain and not have control of the blockchain. So people tend to take this approach where they go, we need a company and the company needs to control the blockchain. Or we don't want to control the blockchain. We don't want anyone controlling the blockchain, so we don't need a company. Both of those are wrong. And so that's been the biggest challenge for us, is pioneering this path of a company that is independent of this blockchain. The blockchain is truly decentralized through a proof of work token distribution. And this company isn't funded, or it's self-funded. And so that creates all kinds of nuances and pressures and stressors. But the point is to have those pressures and those stressors organized to motivate us to ship fast, to ship something great and to ship it fast. And if we ship Koinos and make great, and we do it fast, then we will, that's when we start receiving some upside. But as a company, the way we've designed it is that even then, that's just the beginning. We need to produce valuable tooling, products and services that leverage Koinos and make it even better for developers, make it even easier for developers to build great applications for their users. And then that's how we intend to generate revenue. And really, once we start generating revenue, that's when members of the Koinos Group will actually start seeing large upside, and not until then. And so that's been a very difficult process to organize, very challenging, but we like challenges, and challenges are what give people, meaning and make us feel like we're doing great work. And so, yeah, it's all been exceptionally hard. But when we look back at what we've done, where we're at now is so much farther and so much better than our original idea. that it validates all of the hard work that we've done till now. I mean, when we look at Koinos, it is fair to say that it is 10 times better than we thought, than we expected our blockchain to be. We had an idea of what the blockchain would be. Koinos is 10 times better than that. And that's because it came out of our collaboration, of us having our incentives aligned, with our community members. And when you properly align incentives, you get synergy, you get a product that is better than what any one person or even any one group thought it would be, because our community developers, the developers we've been speaking to since we started this process, their input has been invaluable and has helped make the blockchain, the platform, that much better.
Okay, so at least you have shared some of the achievements and the challenges that you are experiencing right now, and your team as well, Andrew. So thank you very much for sharing. As you know, I had to agree with you about those challenges, because yeah, just like you, I love challenges as well, because no challenge is easy. It's always difficult. You always have to come out strong. You always have to keep going no matter how much obstacles that you are passing through, especially that you guys are on the development and technical side. It really inspired me. Andrew, about how you guys cope up with those challenges. And I hope that the subscribers right here on my YouTube channel, and also to the viewers right here, I hope you guys are learning and inspired, on what he shared right now about these achievements and challenges. So, Andrew, thank you very much. Okay.
Well, thanks for saying that. I appreciate that.
All right. So let's go now to the next question. And I think this is one thing that most of the communities in crypto, blockchain, and DeFi space, especially the Koinos Group community. So I just want to shout out to you guys. Do you have some exciting updates and future plans you have in store for the crypto, blockchain, and DeFi community, especially the community in the Koinos Group? So could you share it?
One thing so for the most part, all of our announcements will be done through public channels and everybody will get it at the same time. Now, one thing that people have been asking us a lot about is when we're going to start open sourcing some of our code. And now in general, we say that the testnet is the only thing where when we launch the testnet, we have to open source all of the repos associated with the network. And so that's when people are going to really get to see the full big picture. But people have been asking us a lot lately if there's not anything we can release before the testnet to show some of the work that we're doing and to give developers an opportunity to begin contributing. And that's been a really great thing to see. And how can I refuse developers who are reaching out, who are excited about the project and who want to contribute? So, I burped. So what I will say is, on the topic of open sourcing a repo so that developers can start contributing and start getting insight into what we're doing, they should keep an eye on the project in the near future, because they might be interested in stuff that happens. And that's it. That's all I can say.
So we will be looking forward to those exciting updates and future plans you have in store for us, Andrew. Yes.
People need to remember, Koinos is a technical product. It is for decentralized application developers. And the farther away you are from a decentralized application developer, the more risky of an investment Koinos is. And this isn't in financial advice. By investment, I mean you put your time, your energy, you buy the token. If you're not a technical user, you're going to have difficulty understanding what we're shipping and the value proposition of our product. And I don't want people allocating time or money or whatever to a project that they're not going to see the value proposition on for maybe a year. When will for most people, they won't really touch Koinos until they're touching decentralized applications. Now, when we launch mainnet, I do believe that we will be launching in a way that lots and lots of ordinary people will be able to participate, but it'll still be a technical product. It's still for decentralized application developers. And so no matter what we do until we launch the mainnet, it's going to go over the heads of ordinary users. Now, if you're a technical user, if you're a decentralized application developer, please reach out to me, join our Discord, talk to me. We will do anything for decentralized application developers. I mean, the whole reason I made that previous statement is because decentralized application developers were like, we need to see something, we need to touch something. So it's really about them. We are developer obsessed. It's all about developers. And maybe I even should have said that sooner. You know, a lot of projects say they're building stuff for developers, but it's bullshit. We are obsessed with developers. We're obsessed with giving them tools that they're going to love. And it's all about that. And if that's not what you are, maybe Koinos isn't the right project for you. And that's just the truth.
Okay, so thank you very much for that, Andrew. You know, I have to agree with you. I think on one thing about the long-term thinking of Koinos that people, when people don't understand yet about the whole concept of Koinos, especially the development side, they don't want to grab some coin, right? Like, in the DeFi space, we see a lot of tokens recently, like it's a pump and dump thing, rug pulls, everything. I agree that if we truly believe about the project, of course, if we really truly believe, then we should hold some tokens in the long run, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think for non-technical users, it should be about the value of a feeless, decentralized platform. I believe that let's say we have a 25% chance of capturing the market for feeless decentralized applications, 25%. That means a 75% chance of failure. So bear that in mind. I believe that we have at least a 25% chance of capturing that market. Ethereum has the fee-based decentralized platform market cornered. That's great. Ethereum's great. That's not what we're going after. We're going after hard the feeless decentralized platform market. And we think that we have a good shot at capturing the whole market. And so if you want to be an early adopter, if you want to get some coin now while it's cheap so that you can use all of the feeless applications that are coming to Koinos, if Koinos captures that market, if Koinos winds up being, because I believe that the feeless decentralized application market is at least 10 times bigger than the fee-based. So we're talking about a 25% chance of capturing a market that is bigger than the market Ethereum is going after. And so while it's a feeless platform, while users should be able to use the applications for free, the amount of free usage you will get will be regulated by how much coin you hold or how much coin developers hold, who are then delegating to you their free network usage capabilities. And so if you understand the importance of a feeless decentralized platform and feeless applications, if you want to be an early adopter to that space, and if you want to be sure that you can use all of these apps and use them a lot, use them more than anybody else without having to pay fees, then getting coin now and just sitting on it and forgetting about it until we do the airdrop and then forgetting about it again for another year, for another 2 years. That's the type of mentality that I think you should have if you're going into coin, because that's the mentality we have. When you look at our scaling solutions, while they enable us to ship a lighter weight, more efficient, lower cost blockchain at the beginning, where they really produce returns like state paging, I mentioned that to you, that's really going to deliver returns 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Because in 20 years, while other blockchains are thousands of times larger than they are now, Koinos will be roughly the same size. It'll be light, it'll be efficient. And so we are thinking about the long term. We are building this for the long term. And really, if that's not how you're thinking about this, if that's not how you're seeing this, then Koinos probably isn't the right place for you to be. And holding coin isn't the right investment for you. You'll just have to get it when it's more expensive so that you can use the only great apps in the blockchain space.
All right. So thank you very much for that, Andrew. Okay. So before we end, could you invite our viewers here and my fellow subscribers here on YouTube who are watching us right now to check out your website, social media channels, etc. So, Andrew, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so check out. So most important again is going to koinos.io and putting your email there for the newsletter. We're not going to send you much at all. We've probably sent out 6 emails in more months than 6. We try to keep it short, sweet, and to the point, and really, we're just trying to keep you informed and engaged for that day when we have to execute the airdrop, so that we can make absolutely certain that everybody who has coin on Ethereum gets those coin onto the Koinos mainnet. It's all about that. We're not going to sell your data. We're not going to use that for anything other than sending you these newsletters. And really, even those are just for the purpose of keeping you a little bit engaged, so that when we send out that information about the airdrop, you get it. So the newsletter, koinos.io, and of course, there's all the other information about Koinos on koinos.io. We post a lot of videos to YouTube, so go to check us out on YouTube. It's the Koinos blockchain. If you search Koinos blockchain on YouTube, you'll see all of our videos. We do them every couple of weeks. There you can learn more about what we're doing. We try to keep it pretty accessible, because in my experience, even technical users, when they come to the blockchain, aren't as technical, right? They're coming with a fresh set of eyes. You have to treat them like anybody else. And so we try to keep everything as accessible as possible. And then finally, Twitter is the next major channel for us. You know, we have a Reddit group. We post on Minds, and we post on Hive. But Koinos, it's Koinos Network on Twitter. Koinos Group is the company, and the Koinos Group is our Twitter handle. And you can follow me at Andrarchy on Twitter as well. That's my main channel, and through that you'll see everything else. So if you just follow me, Andrarchy, on Twitter, you'll get it all, but also sign up for our newsletter on koinos.io for that important airdrop related information.
All right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of Koinos Group, Mr. Andrew Levine. So once again, Andrew, it's great for you to be here on the show. Thank you very much for your time, Andrew. I had a wonderful time doing this discussion with you, and I really enjoyed it, honestly.
Good. Hey, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I appreciate that. I had a great time too. It was great talking to you. Let's do it again. Let's do it. Happy to keep you informed and updated on the project. This is a pleasure. You're a delight to work with.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that day, Andrew. And of course, I would like to thank all of the viewers here who are watching us right now on YouTube. I hope you guys are having fun with our discussion here with Andrew. I hope you've learned something about the Koinos Group and its positive real use cases. So yeah, go check it out, guys. All right.
Well,
So
one last thing.
yeah,
One
sure.
last thing. Learning about Koinos is actually a great window to learning about the blockchain space as a whole. You'll learn about Bitcoin. You'll learn about Ethereum. We are this evolutionary step in a long process that started with Bitcoin. And so if you're just looking to get a better understanding of blockchain, check out Koinos. It's great for that, I think.
Okay, thank you very much again. All right. So guys, if you have any further questions, or if there is something in your mind that we haven't discussed right here on our video, you can just leave a comment right here on the comment section of this YouTube video, okay? And one more thing, peeps, for you to stay notified about my latest videos regarding cryptocurrencies, blockchain technology, and DeFi, just simply click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. And you can follow my social media channels right here or in my YouTube description. Okay, so from my freaking home studio, this is Jeff, aka Nomad Fury, and see you guys on my next video. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Andrew. Thanks for your time, man.
Thank you.